Welcome to the PDX files. Each week we dive into the weird and the unexplained here in the Pacific Northwest and beyond. My name is Peej.
And I'm Mac.
And Mac, we're not staying in the Pacific Northwest for this one, are we?
No, although the Pacific Northwest is very green and lush, it doesn't have quite the same look and feel as the old Emerald Isles, also known as Ireland.
All right, so this is in honor of the upcoming St. Patrick's Day holiday. So this is
Indeed.
definitely an homage to that. So I have not seen this video, so we shall go ahead and take a look.
Number 1. The Dobbins Inn Hotel
Dobby.
in County Antrim.
Hello,
The
Harry.
Dobbins Inn Hotel was built sometime in the 13th century by Reginald de Aubin.
Whoa.
By the 15th century, the family name had been changed to Dobbins, and several family members had become important local figures. Not long after, Elizabeth Dobbins, the beautiful wife of the then owner, Hugh Dobbins, fell in love with another man, a handsome soldier who was stationed at a nearby castle. Eventually, an affair began between the two. In her effort to meet with the soldier, who in the story is referred to as Button Cap, Elizabeth would take to crawling through a secret tunnel behind the huge stone fireplace in what is now the reception area of the hotel. Unfortunately for the two forbidden lovers, Elizabeth's husband became aware of their unholy affair, and in a rage, murdered them both using his sword.
Ooh.
In 1946, the building was converted into what is now the Dobbins Inn Hotel, which is believed to be inhabited by Elizabeth's ghost. Guests have reported being awakened from their sleep by the touch of a cold, invisible hand, caressing their faces. Others have seen a ghoulish figure fly across the reception area before disappearing into the chimney of the stone fireplace. On one occasion, a waiter who was working in the hotel's restaurant was struck in the back of the leg by a coin, but when he turned around, the room was completely empty.
Here's your
According
tip.
to locals, Elizabeth is intent on continuing her affair, even in death.
Well, I mean, maybe actually a lot of it. So this is definitely not is not a residual haunt. If you just think of the description of what it's talking, there's a lot of interaction. So the guy getting hit in the back of the leg with the coin, seeing it's not like the same thing over and over again in the reception area. Some shadow figures, it sounds like, and then being touched by an icy cold hand kind of situation. That's definitely more of this is an interactive haunt for sure. More of an intelligent haunt possibility.
Yeah, the whole being touched in the face by a cold hand, that's the creepiest thing ever. I definitely don't want that to
Yeah,
happen to me.
no,
But again, we're talking about a very historical place. It's been there for forever. Obviously rebuilt maybe, and
they
reopened as
said
the Dobbins.
yeah, was it the 13th century? They said is when the structure was built. Is that what I thought? I heard it was. It was long. It was like hundreds of years before
It,
Elizabeth.
yeah,
Here is what it sounded like.
yeah, and
And that was
and
the
it
15th
started
century, so it would have been in the 1600s at some point. Jesus, yeah,
Dobbins Inn Hotel.
that's a neat. That'd be a cool place to stay. Certainly.
I mean, I think this is one of those places that one of our one of the people that we know from our ghost hunting days. She and her husband purposefully stay at haunted places,
Yeah,
and I don't
yeah,
think they've been to Ireland. So I will recommend this to her.
yeah. Well, we should recommend the whole video,
Oh,
and
true that,
anybody
true that.
people can
All
like our
right.
stuff, but they should go visit this guy's site for sure.
But yeah, but I agree that it sounds more intelligent. I mean, it's intelligent haunting versus residual, especially the
Yeah,
coin thing.
that's interesting. Yeah, so it has some power behind this, whatever the entities, it could be entities are, if it's a place that old. And again, it's not like people are seeing a lady in white at the same time at a certain time of
Bro,
day,
no.
right? Doing that. It's not like that at all. And it doesn't have any awareness of you, right? So obviously it's something that wants to interact if in fact it exists. But I mean, I wouldn't doubt it at all in a place that old. And maybe the whole story of Elizabeth is just a bunch of nonsense. But the fact that there could be there could be some activity at a place like this, especially it's been remodeled and changed up over the years. Certainly.
Exactly.
Yep.
Stirs things up.
Yep.
All right, here's the next one.
Number 2. Grace
That was like a
Neal's
cool place.
Bar in County Down. Built in the year 1611 and originally known as the King's Arms, Grace Neal's in County Down is one of the oldest pubs in Ireland. It was renamed after Grace Neal, who ran the inn for many years, until her death in 1918 at the age of 98. Neal was an Irish woman with a big personality, who was known to keep a watchful eye at things in the inn. And her death did little to change that. A ghost of an old woman, draped in ragged Victorian clothing, has been spotted in dark corners of the inn. Her spirit can be seen at the front bar, straightening glasses and furniture, and even switching lights on and off. An odd shuffling can be heard coming from the second floor, and some have even felt an invisible presence pass through them while standing near the building's staircase. But patrons visiting Grace Neal's have nothing to worry about. The former caretaker of the inn is as friendly as ghosts come. That is, if you believe ghosts can be friendly. I've stated in the past that I don't believe that to be true, so I recommend proceeding with caution if you ever decide to grab a pint at Grace Neal's bar.
That's kind of a weird comment that he made there. He doesn't think any ghosts could possibly be friendly. I don't see this as being a friendly. I think this one sounds a lot more like it's residual than it is an intelligent haunt to me. I mean, it's always seen in the same. Again, we just said this. It's seen in the same places, doing the same things. It could pass through somebody, and you might have a feeling of that happening. But I don't see anything to suggest that this is good or evil. It's just there, and maybe it loved the place that much. It made that imprint upon it, or who knows? But it seems like it's doing the same stuff over and over again.
I mean, obviously, there was that movie, The Others, with Nicole Kidman, where she and their kids and her kids rather, they did not know that they were dead.
There could be that. Yeah,
it could be, Grace Neal probably does not know that she's dead, and she's still keeping watch and still doing the stuff that she's, doing, walking around. And I mean, to your point, yes, it could be a repetitive stuff that people are just observing, and so there could be just more residual haunting, but I don't know.
Or it could be different. It could be like that. Maybe some of it is just another entity. Again, it just because there's one entity there, that couldn't mean that there's not another entity or another type of haunting going on.
True.
These places are so old, and the U.S. we think a building that's 50 years old is really old. Like we'd have no clue. Right? I mean, maybe a little bit on the East Coast, maybe more so. They have those older buildings like from the 18th centuries, and things that's nothing compared to these buildings, right? And the amount of things that have happened there. But it's interesting that the guide. I don't know. I'm going to have to look more into this guide. I don't understand why he would say, in his opinion, there aren't any, like all ghosts are bad or something. Is that kind of what it sounded like he was saying? At least in his opinion, he has some theory on that.
Yeah, well, he probably has some sort of trauma from it too. So who knows?
Yeah, interesting.
Take that with a grain of salt for sure.
Indeed.
Because we know that there are good ghosts. I mean, we've seen it.
I think so. Yeah, I think
absolutely. So. All right, here we go.
Number 3, Lunatic Asylum in Cork.
Oh boy.
Built in 1798 by noted Irish psychiatrist William Saunders Halloran, this now abandoned asylum is said to be plagued by the restless spirits of its inmates. who lived out their days in a state of paranoia, pain, and despair. Halloran's methods were extreme, to say the least. He's credited for creating the, quote, Halloran's chair.
Oh shit,
Device
that can't be
rapidly
good.
spun hysterical patients at up to 100 revolutions per minute. It rarely had the desired effect, whatever that may have been.
Right.
Paranormal investigators have claimed to see and hear the voices of the tormented souls who dwelled in the asylum. The tortured echoes of ghostly inmates have been heard and even recorded in the abandoned asylum. The more run-down portions of the complex are said to be haunted by the desperate souls who were condemned to live out their lives there.
Okay, now this one sounds even more like a residual haunt to me, because you can hear music in haunts like that. You can hear voices and things that might actually repeat. This one seems like it definitely some traumatic things happened. They would have imprinted itself upon that. And he said 100 revolutions a minute. I don't know how was that 25. How much? I didn't remember to do math clearly, but 160 seconds. I mean, that's pretty fast, but it's not that fast. I don't know. It's not like
When if you're in a revolving chair and
I guess that's pretty fast. Yeah.
that's pretty freaking fast.
Well, I'm trying to understand what this idiot, this so-called professional psychiatrist, is trying to
Right.
achieve with this. Like, just trying to get him to get sick. I mean, what are you, what are
I
you
know
doing
it's just,
here?
I mean, it's just torture. I mean, in the olden days,
Good God.
I mean, in the olden days, I mean, people who are suffering from, mental illness, people back then didn't have a lot of patience for them. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
and all the societal pressures on the family about like, the shame that condition brings to their reputation. I mean, so that's why they're just stuck. They just offload them into these places that don't have to do anything truly to try to get them better. I'm sure
And
there's
then
a good
probably they
many.
were to think, yeah, some of these doctors think, well, I'm actually doing something good. I'm trying to figure out why these things are, but they're trying to act as scientists, but clearly that's not a
They're
scientific thing to
they're
do right
hacks.
there. Yeah.
They're hacks. They're mad
Yeah.
scientists, like you said. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's too bad. I mean, it's certainly these are the types of things, conceptually we've learned that that things are imprinted in these kinds of
Hmm.
places, right? And in
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
kinds of conditions. So am I going to be going and visiting or trying to do a ghost hunt there? Nope.
No, thank you. I'd rather
Absolutely
not.
not. All
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
Here's the next one.
Number 4. The Abbey of the Black Hag in County
Oh,
Limerick.
shit.
Hidden in a secluded valley southeast of Shanagolden are the remains of a medieval convent. This
Mm,
convent, led by a
That's not good.
lady from Shanid Castle, is said to be the former site of a wide range of evil practices and witchcraft, including the use of
Ah,
black magic and taboo sexual deviancies.
oh,
This
even
leader
better.
of the covenant
Even better.
died in that same location, in a specific area that is now referred to as the Black Hag's Cell, named after the literal, physical darkness that was believed to form upon her face after years
Oh.
and years of debauchery. But she isn't the only ghost to haunt the old ruins. The Countess Desmond, also referred to as the Geraldine Knight, and the Lady Antiquarian, was supposedly buried alive there. This was discovered when the appearance of a ghostly figure prompted a closer inspection of her grave. When they did, they found the bones of her fingers had been worn out from clawing at the coffin that prematurely sealed her fate.
Damn.
Today,
That's
her
crazy.
screams of rage and anguish can still be heard long into the night.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if any of that's real or even if that photos of that area because it didn't look like it. They really got much uh, into the place itself. But that's an interesting. Again, I bet Ireland's full of places like this, just like all of Europe is, and you know, I think we had a Barcelona one not that long ago before you went on your trip that kind of illustrated some of that as well. And there's so much more history of these types of like really bad things happening in this area. Now, this one, I don't know. This says again, sounds like if it was a traumatic thing, it imprinted itself upon you know, the area. It could be, you know, talking about black magic. Like I don't even want to use a Ouija board. I'm not even going to do that. I'll never do it. I've never done it. Never will do it. I think it's a bad thing to do if you unless you want to invite something in that you're not ready for. So yeah, I mean, I could buy that there was some occult stuff happening there, and could have left an imprint, and certainly this other gal getting buried alive. Damn, and they found evidence of the bone, like scraping on the coffin, and that's pretty messed up.
What's messed up is that there seems to be a pattern of like convents and nuns and, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
turning into some sort of paranormal activity. It's like how oppressed were they in kind of like their practice that it kind of like translates to this in the afterlife.
yeah, yeah. It's clearly not a place you want to be then, and not probably not a place you want to be now.
Oh boy. All right, here's the next one.
And number 5, the
Ah,
Hellfire Club in
Mm.
County Dublin.
mm,
Built in 1735 on a Neolithic passage tomb and nestled in the vast Dublin mountains, the Hellfire Club was the site of a notorious Irish club, more accurately, a cult. Members of
okay.
this cult were known to dress as Satan and practice all sorts of black magic and sorcery. They also practiced other immoral acts, including but not
Ooh.
limited to sexual deviancies, alcohol abuse, debauchery,
Oh,
and animal torture.
Oh,
There are
that's.
even
I mean,
those
everything
who
else seems
believe
fine.
they may or may not have eaten a servant girl alive.
oh,
Cannibalism.
These,
cannibalism.
allegedly, satanic cannibals held these dark rituals in their attempts to summon the devil. Those who visit the site have reported an oppressive atmosphere, and some have even claimed to encounter demonic manifestations. The
Mm.
lodge was founded by Richard Parsons, the first Grand Master of the Irish Freemasons.
Mm.
What began as
Freemasons.
novice practices of dark magic and conjuring led to the use of an ancient document called the Dionysian Scrolls.
Oh.
These scrolls were stolen from the Great Library of Alexandria in the year 1270. How
Hmm.
exactly Richard Parsons came to obtain them is unknown, but what he did with them is a well-known and notorious legend across County Dublin.
Hmm. That's an interesting one. I've never liked the Freemasons, and actually, it's
No.
weird. I see it on the. We wake up early enough to get up and walk our dog, my wife and I, and there they have. I've seen the Freemasons do some sort of weird charity thing on the news, and then not long after that, I saw on the YouTube algorithm for some reason, and even on TV, they have these ads for the Oregon Freemasons, and they're trying to
Wow.
act like they're somehow these like really, you know, this great group to join. To me, like, and they're thinking that you got some weird eye, the all-seeing eye on it. I'm not trusting that as far as I can throw it, which isn't very far. So yeah, I don't know. That could just be this case here, the Freemasons. I don't think they were really well liked in some places. I wonder if it's just in this place they made up all these stories about the Freemasons that, and maybe they did have some weird shit going on there. I mean, it could be, but maybe it was just a lot of propaganda, the anti-Mason propaganda. Is what it sounds like to me.
Anti-Freemasons.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I mean, again, this is, this is a place that's it. Well, first of all, I was doing a little bit of a research here on the internet, It's a
in the
21
woods.
minute drive, 21 minute drive from where I was in Dublin.
I was going to say it
Um,
must have been pretty close, right? Yeah.
yeah, because it was in County Dublin, but and to your point, yes, I wonder if it were like, okay, well, let's try to figure out what's going on here. I think maybe the Freemasons had something to do with it as well at some point, type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think people were leery about this. They certainly had a reputation. I think, they try to present themselves as altruistic, as as trying to do
Yeah,
things for
men
society.
men of science and enlightenment and all this kind of stuff. I think they were kind of like less. They weren't really religious. I think they're more not engaged in the church kind of stuff going on. I could be wrong in that completely, but it seems like they had their at least their cult was kind of like that. Is kind of like that
Right.
anyway. I think they try
Well,
to like say science is kind of what they look into.
well, that last one with the name like Hellfire Club. I mean, what are you trying to attract there? Like,
Yeah, I don't think there's any bikers. It sounds like a good job or a good name for some badass bikers or something like that, more so than the Freemasons. But yeah, I liked everything that had going on, all the debauchery and alcohol, whatever kind of sex stuff. But then they got into torturing animals and eating servants,
and
and
cannibalism, yeah.
I'm going to say no to that. I'm going to say no to that, Bob.
Just say no. Well, folks, if you enjoy this content, please give it a like and share it across your socials to help get the word out about our show. If you hadn't already done so, please subscribe, and on YouTube, hit that notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on future episodes. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
And happy St. Patty's.
Yeah.